Boy, oh boy, when that Page of Wands meets the Fool in the shadow of the reverse Queen of Wands, that fire is lit. Let me tell you, there is a leap near, and the illusion is first burning to the ground. And so the Divine Masculine today, he is standing at the edge of a message, but he's not yet brave enough to hit send. And I do feel the Divine Feminine is teetering on the edge of a brand new beginning. Heart open, eyes scanning for the ghosts of the past. And what's between them? We got that karmic temptress coming through today, trying to confuse, trying to test the waters. And so this is a testing time. Will the masculine choose his soul-led journey over the ego? Because I do have to say that truth is stirring today. There is passion rising, and the clarity is not going to come from any fantasy or any illusion. And so this is all about bold, heart-led surrender. Are you ready to reveal the mysteries and the miracles that are brewing beneath the silence today? Because we've got some mercurial aspects playing out in the astrology. So let's go a little bit deeper and let's dig into these energies. Hit that like button and let's head on over there. Hey, good morning. Welcome in. Welcome back, everybody. It is Laura, and we are going to talk about these energies today because we do have two significant transits playing out today with Mercury and Gemini. The first one in a square to the North Node in Pisces, and the second one in a sextile to Mars in Leo. You can see it up on the screen there. These are happening just moments apart pretty much in the big scheme of things. And so the square energy creates tension, but there is fast moving thoughts, fast moving communication. Gemini being the sign of duality. This is mental agility and curiosity. And with that square to Pisces energy of the North Node, there is tension between this fast-moving, thoughtful energy and the collective soul growth path. And so there's a tense energy between spiritual surrender, dissolution of the ego, and all of these fast-moving thoughts. And so squares create tension, squares create challenges, but this is necessary chaos and friction for growth, right? We don't grow when we are comfortable in that pattern. And so right now, the energetic theme for the twins today with the Mercury and Gemini square North Node in Pisces is all about the mental versus spiritual crossroads, okay? And so as you can see up on the screen, we do have the ascendant sitting in Virgo, which puts the South Node in the first house and the North Node in the seventh house of relationships. And so there could be a relationship belief here that needs to be surrendered, especially connected to past life soul contracts. And so the mind wants that logical explanation. The mind wants that clarity. The mind wants the quick answer with the Mercury and Gemini. But the soul path with the North Node in Pisces, that demands surrender. That demands patience. And that demands trusting in the unseen realms. And so with Mercury and Gemini and a sextile to Mars and Leo, this creates the opportunity, but it will require action, right? It's going to be that air and that fire mixed together, that mental drive, that bold action with Mars and Leo. This is all about heart-led courage, heart-led communication. This is the opportunity. This is the opportunity to get back into the flow, to get back into the synergy between thinking and doing, because yes, our thoughts do create our reality, but we do have to have our emotions aligned and our actions aligned with what it is that we want to create with our thoughts. And so there's an energetic theme coming through today all about courageous expression, right? And so this is the time to speak your truth, to initiate a new creative project or a new creative conversation. This is about taking brave action on something you've been thinking about mentally and processing for a very long time. And so for the Twin Flame Collective, I do feel this is a balancing between the head and the heart, the head and the soul. The head is full of thoughts. The head wants the questions answered, and the head is the one that holds the doubts of, well, what if? What if I fail? What if I'm rejected? What if you have success? What if you fly? What if you are accepted, right? And so the soul energy, the North Node in Pisces, is encouraging the trusting of the intuition and the letting go of the old structures of power and control dynamics, okay? And so we've got this window opportunity to embrace this courage with Mars and Leo that's going to allow that communication to be led from the heart, and it's going to land powerfully if you choose to speak your truth. So I do feel a lot of the masculines are being realigned with their soul truth rather than their ego. But for those in the collective that are still struggling with the shadow work and the distortion, this could manifest as overthinking or obsessing, whether it's about union, the label, or a timeline. It can lead to a lot of miscommunication and harsh words due to that fear energy. Fear is a shadow manifestation. And then the shadow or distortion possibilities could also be acting impulsively from the ego, right? Instead of divinely guided action that we're being led to take. And if you're grounded in the light, if you've integrated your shadowy energies, this can lead to a lot of brave heart-to-heart conversations. This can mean receiving those divinely guided downloads or signs or synchronicities. And this is also initiating the receiving energy, the receiving of love, the receiving of truth. Divine Feminine, you may be struggling with trusting what it is that you're hearing versus what it is that you intuitively know. And so there could be doubts arising whether you will ever receive communication from the Divine Masculine, or if this was ever really real, or maybe it's just a lot of mental noise. That emotional overwhelm is likely going to be possible. You need to silence that emotional overwhelm in order to hear that inner truth today. Because with the Mercury sextile Mars, it is activating an opportunity for you, Divine Feminine, I feel, to express yourself clearly and courageously. Whether it's to write, to speak, to create something that's going to articulate that inner fire of yours. And so you might feel a sudden urge to reach out to your counterpart or to confess your feelings one last time. But whatever you do, it has to come from the soul, and it cannot come from a place of fear, okay? And so your guidance is to anchor in your heart before responding to anything, right? Let that fire from within lead that message forward, right? Do not let the mind's fear take control over what it is you're being guided to speak on, okay? Because you are being called to speak your truth and to trust in its divine impact when you do. Divine Masculine energy, I do feel there is an intense mental conflict going on for the masculines, especially about the next steps to take, right? Whether he wants to act or he wants to speak. The North Node in Pisces energy is tugging him towards the unknown. And I do think this is going to require a massive spiritual leap of faith. And that's probably going to feel terrifying for a lot of the Divine Masculines. And so there's a struggle, I feel, for the masculines with surrendering control and understanding all of the signs from Spirit. And so the bravery energy is stirring with the sextile to Mars. And it is this energized activation to communicate or to take that decisive action. But they can either support this energy by taking action, or they can sabotage it. It's going to depend on whether he's aligned with his heart or acting out of the ego. And so sextiles create the opportunity, but they do require the action. And so the Divine Masculine is being given the mental clarity, but he does have to surrender what it is that he can't control. There's a lot of things that we are not in control of in this universe. And so trust that words must be heart-led, and then you will land divinely guided exactly where you need to land, Divine Masculine, okay? So don't be afraid to speak your truth, even if your voice is shaking, okay? So I think today holds a very sacred portal of intense mental and spiritual realignment. It's potential, though. It's only potential. And so there's a discomforting energy between the mind and the soul, and this is like a sacred test for both of the counterparts today. So can you trust where it is you are being led, even if you don't understand the logic of where it is you're being guided to go? Because we do have to drop the mental loop. We do have to lead from the heart. That's part of the journey on the twin flame path. And we do have to trust the path that is unfolding, even if we are in a state of silence or uncertainty. So let's go a little bit further and dig in with some tarot and some oracle cards if you would like to understand your birth chart a little bit better. If you are new to astrology, I do have a free guide. Comment free guide down below, and I will send you the link to download my free guide of the 15 basics of the birth chart. And if you are ready to really dive deep into your twin flame path, I do have a twin flame ebook that I have published. It is a downloadable book, and it's all about the stages and the phases of the journey and working through them, mastering them like a pro, like I have. If you are curious about the twin flame path and the mission, because it's more than just romance, it is mission work, comment twin flame book down below and I will send you that link. But let's jump in with the cards and let's see what those cards have to say today. Well, let's jump right in and let's break down these cards in relation to the transits today with Mercury and the North Node, Mercury and Mars, because the first card out today for the Divine Masculine is the All Tied Up card in reverse from the Energy Oracle card deck. And there is a hint of an Eight of Swords in reversed along with the King of Wands reversed energy. And so I do feel there is mental confusion. There's clinging to logic. There's this inner push to act boldly, to break out. And I do feel the Divine Masculine is seeing through some type of an illusion, I want to say, of entrapment. And I kind of feel he's been mentally stuck, likely in some type of self-imposed restriction, whether it's overthinking or being paralyzed by fear of choosing wrong. There's something shifting today, though, I do feel. And the reversed energy of this card does show that he is reaching a critical pressure point where he can no longer sit still. He can no longer do nothing, because choosing to do nothing is also a choice. And so with the King of Wands reversed energy coming through that I'm feeling, there could be a lack of confidence or an energy of being unfocused, even though he desires to move forward. And so I do think he's starting to see that he's not as trapped as he thinks he is, because freedom does always come from claiming your power and not waiting for permission from anybody to take action. And so I do feel it's like his soul is screaming at him, take the leap of faith, take the leap of faith. But I do feel the mind is still in some type of negotiation energy connected to the fear. And so divine feminine, we do get for you today the angel of strength, and I feel very strong Leo energy. I feel this inner courage along with a little bit of spiritual restraint. And so there's courage, there's heart-centered action surrounding the divine feminine, there is a surrendering control to the divine, and there is a deep knowing that your emotional fulfillment is on the way. I do feel an underlying energy of the 10 of Cups today. And so you are being asked to surrender any attachment to when and how this is going to unfold. This does not mean that you are giving up. It means that you are trusting in your inner strength and your spiritual maturity. And so the Angel of Strength card is saying to you, Divine Feminine, you do have the power, but you are here to wield it with grace, not force. And so can you step into that silent, sovereign knowing? That is where your strength is going to be very loud. Silence speaks louder than words. It's not demanding, right? Real strength is not demanding. It is rooted in divine alignment. And so you may feel the urge to act or to speak with the Mars influencing energies, but there is a discerning energy as to whether it's coming from love or control. And so you really need to trust in your resilience. I feel you need to trust in your resilience, because Divine Feminine, ultimately you are the calm in the storm. You really are that calm in the storm, and you're not here to force, right? The waves will push things forward. And so your true strength today is going to lie in faith and that quiet certainty. And so the combined energies today is the woman holding a coin. And so there is a 2 of Cups energy coming through. There is a Queen of Pentacles energy coming through. There's a very grounded, nurturing energy of self-worth and embodiment of that self-worth. And so I do feel the twins are being tested through real world integration, and the twins are being asked, are your choices rooted in spiritual value or surface level distractions? And so this is the connection. This is the soul path. This is the grounding of the union into physical reality after self-worth and value issues have been dealt with and transmuted. And I do feel this is especially strong for the Divine Feminine. She is the energetic container, right? She is the mirror of unconditional love. She doesn't chase, though. She sits in that state of wholeness because she knows her worth. She knows her value, which makes her magnetic, which makes her abundant and sure of her worth. And so together, I think this is a card of spirit saying, along with me, the path forward is always going to be through emotional and material sovereignty. Each counterpart does have to learn how to hold their own value before true union can be nurtured. They both have to be in a state of financial discipline. They have to be grounded. They have to know their worth. They have to know their value, and they have to speak from the heart when they are rooted in self-worth, right? Not fear or lack. So the bottom of the deck, we got the thinking man with a little bit of 6 of Cups energy coming through. And I see below that we get the indecision card, because there is fear around security, because below that was the first chakra, or the base chakra card. And so behind the scenes, the Divine Masculine is in deep in this mental excavation energy. He's thinking. He's trying to rationalize the spiritual truths that are coming through, connected to the nostalgia, the reminiscing, the past life memories, because of the 6 of Cups undertone. And so the answers never do come through thought. They do come through surrender. And so there's an overthinking, there's an analysis paralysis, there's a deep karmic soul examination going on here. I do think he is genuinely trying to understand but he's still filtering a lot of the divine messages through his logical mind, which is creating that major challenge between Mercury squaring the North Node. And so let's go a little bit further here, layer by layer. We will start off by talking about the divine masculine tarot cards, and then we will move on to the feminine and the combined energy. And so there is some mental tension for the masculine today, because I do think he is yearning to initiate, to send a message, to explore, to take a risk. We get the Page of Wands, but he doesn't know how or if he will even be received. And so there is mental tension about maybe his past immature expressions, taking divine action. It's like he wants to move forward, but fear is definitely taking over him. He doesn't want to be seen as reckless or foolish. He doesn't want to be rejected. And I do think there's a lot of fast thoughts. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of questioning if he's even ready. It's a little immature energy here. It's like he wants to speak, but he's still focused on, what if I make the wrong move? What if I say the wrong thing? What if it's not reciprocated? But the Queen of Swords is his courage activation. And so this is the divine feminine coming through as the masculine strength. So you standing in your truth, you speaking publicly, you are activating the divine masculine. When you stand in your truth, he feels that gap. Trust me, he feels the gap. He does see you as clear, detached, discerning, and possibly even emotionally removed from this whole journey, from this whole connection. And this is triggering him. It's putting him in a state of fear and awe at the same time. And so you are like this mirroring energy, especially with the Angel of Strength coming out. You are embodying what he must rise into. And so he's being guided to match your truth with his own, even if he's not perfect. And so this is you no longer bending. This is you saying, hey, if you want this divine masculine, you're going to have to meet me at my truth level now, right? And the Knight of Coins in reverse. This is what I feel is the deep emotional undercurrent. He feels stuck. I think he feels his efforts are never going to be enough, or he'll never fully be seen. It is connected to the South Node and Virgo energy as well. And I do feel he's probably in this energy of burnout. Whether it's emotional burnout, financial burnout, he fears he's not stable enough, he's not good enough, maybe he doesn't have much to offer you. But subconsciously, this is really affecting his ability to move forward. Why try if he's just going to fall short again, right? Is really what I just heard the masculine, like, why should I even bother trying? I'm just going to keep falling short. So the last two cards out, we got two cards out today for the divine masculine was the Ace of Pentacles and the High Priestess. I'm pretty sure the Ace of Pentacles came out in yesterday's reading as well. So this really is a stunning message of soul alignment, right? This is the divine masculine's higher path. There's silence, there's attunement, there's a new grounded beginning here. And this is all about listening before you speak. Tune in and surrender. Because when you do act, it has to come from a place of real rootedness, not fantasy and not ego. And so the divine masculine already holds the seed, but he can't plant it until he plants it with wisdom and not haste from the ego. So divine feminine, the Fool, the Fool, Uranus energy. We do have Uranus moving into Gemini. It's currently in late degree Taurus, but the Fool represents a leap forward. I do think there's mental tension though with wanting to leap forward and start fresh, with or without the divine masculine, but there's fear of maybe repeating the same old cycles. And maybe that's what's clouding your clarity in the energies today. There is that North Node in Pisces energy asking, can I trust the unknown? Maybe you're not sure if you can trust the unknown. It's like you're teetering between hopeful surrender and mental self-protection. And so you want to trust the leap of faith, but what if you fail again too? What if you fall again too? And so the heart of the matter is, you know the heart truth. You are the divine feminine. You are the empress. Your heart already knows. You are the path, divine feminine. You are the abundance. You are the nurturer. You are the magnet for miracles. And so there is no need to chase. There is no need to prove when you are in your divine feminine fullness. And so when you match that energy of the woman holding the coin, and this is really what this is, like a match to holding the coin. She's holding the baby. And I just feel you are embodying that self-worth energy, the lesson of connection, right? You are already whole without any external person. You call in what aligns with you in your highest frequency, okay? And so the communication readiness, I don't know if you're ready. We got the King of Cups in reverse. And so I think you're at a point where you're going to be holding back deep feelings now, especially around the past emotional disappointments, and especially around all of the perceived emotional immaturity that the divine masculine brought forward into this connection. And so this could be emotional suppression. This could be passive aggressiveness. This could be fear of being too open and too vulnerable again. I don't know if you're resisting expressing how much you still feel, or you fear that the masculine will never fully express how much he feels about this connection. But there's a fear of not being perceived properly one way or the other. And so maybe you fear if you open up your heart again, will it even be safe this time? So I think there's a little bit of doubts in any type of communication at this point in time. And the last card out for you, I want to say, is your spiritual guidance. And it is the Palace of Swords, the Ace of Swords on steroids. And so mental environment energy, it's like you need to create that space of mental clarity. You need to surround yourself with truth, objectivity, and that higher vision. We do have a full moon in Sagittarius coming up. We do see the full moon on the card. And so Spirit is urging you to detach from all of the illusions and to stay in your mental sovereignty. Clear the space, clear the thoughts, clear the words. Trust and truth is your sword in this moment, okay? So let's talk about the combined energies, because I thought it was very interesting. We got the classic third party block and interference card as the first card out. The Queen of Wands in reverse. This is the communication block today. And so this energy is basically literal third party, or it could just be the energetic shadow of control, seduction, or ego-based love. But this is what is creating the blockage between the heart and the throat. And I do feel it does have a reflection of ego wounding within the connection, especially around control, jealousy, and validation seeking. And so burn the illusion, because only soul-aligned confidence will survive this transit. The Ten of Swords in reversed. This, I feel, is the courage activation. This really is what I feel, what both of the twins are being pushed to kind of confront about the past betrayals, the past ending, and the past cycles of abandonment. And so this is an invitation to heal it, not to repeat it, right? The worst has already happened in reverse. And so this calls for communication around closure before the renewal. We have to close the old before we can renew in a new energy. And so what needs to be forgiven does need to be spoken out loud about, okay? Six of Cups in reversed is the emotional undercurrent. And so there's deep nostalgia and longing, but because it's in reversed, it does speak to the need to release the idealized versions of the past. The past is done. It's over. We're not going back there. That energy is gone. It cannot be revived in that same essence. And so there's a lot of emotional pain, I feel, from childhood and previous lifetimes that is likely surfacing, that has to be seen in this connection right now. And we do have to see where things stand right now, not where they could have been at a certain point in time. And so surrender the fantasy, because love lives in the present moment, okay? And so the sacred outcome today, if both of the twins surrender the soul, the outcome is not separation with the Nine of Coins in reverse, but it is the collapse of the false independence that was rooted in ego. This is a union of soul level interdependence. Both of the twins have to hold wholeness from within, and they have to choose this connection consciously. It can't be forced. And so this is also a warning against codependency or scarcity-driven choices as well today, if the surrender isn't genuine. And so wholeness will always lead to union, and fear is going to lead to that false sense of freedom, okay? So let's talk about the bottom of the deck, because I do feel this is always like the psychic undercurrent. maybe what's not being acknowledged. And so I do think there's a lot of fear of starting over, right? There could be hesitation to build from scratch. The seeds are actually there, but the fear of rejection or the failure fears is delaying the offer, right? Because there's exhaustion, there's wounds. Both twins are probably feeling a little bit battle weary, almost ready to give up. But the fantasies and the illusions are breaking apart. The fantasy is falling. This is like reality bites, and it's biting hard, but it's going to liberate, right? And so the Chariot reversed is saying there is no movement forward until both align internally. Willpower alone will not carry this connection forward. Both have to come into that whole state, that union within, and we do have to release all of the past energy. And so the twins right now kind of feel like they are in divine isolation, being led through that inner soul searching journey. And it's not punishment. It's always, always, always preparation. So let's tie this all together with the oracle card guidance from the universe. Passion and pleasure. Savor your life. So this does kind of harmonize with the Mars in Leo energy. Joy, vitality, sensuality. There's creative fire. We see the full moon energy again, fiery energy, Sagittarius energy, I feel, leading into that full moon in Sagittarius. And so this is a reminder that clarity and movement don't have to come from pressure. They can emerge from play, pleasure, presence. The twins are being reminded the journey is not only healing and shadow work, it is about experiencing divine joy, that sensual embodiment and the pleasure of being fully alive in the now moment. And so this is a big call to step out of that headspace, especially with the Mercury overload in late degree Gemini, and to get back into the body and into the heart, where that true communication and that union will thrive. And so divine masculine, let passion lead you forward. You do have to understand that you don't have to understand everything. Some truths are just living in the experience. And reclaim your joy, divine feminine. Your radiance is magnetic. Your pleasure is your sacred prayer. And so don't delay joy waiting for clarity. Don't delay joy waiting for somebody to return, because your joy and your light lives in the now moment. And when we live in the now moment, then we can expect the wondrous miracles to emerge, right? And so this is the realm of trust. This is the divine orchestration. This is the surrender to the unseen forces. And so it's a reminder that you can't logic your way into receiving a miracle. You have to believe, you have to align, and you have to be willing to receive. And so there's more happening behind the scenes than you actually realize on this journey. But you do have to keep your heart open. Just because communication is delayed or uncertain or blocked altogether, it doesn't mean that anything is off track. Both the counterparts are being told, I want to say, to expect the unexpected. This isn't from a place of fantasy, but from a place of faithful alignment. Make your wish. The universe is wondrous. The universe grants miracles every single day. Divine masculine, miracles will come when you surrender control, when you trust the unknown, and when you're not alone in the process, when you trust that you're not alone. Divine feminine, I believe you've done a lot of inner work, and so the universe will respond to the inner work that you've done. So stay open without needing to predict anything, right? And so oftentimes when things feel delayed, things are being divinely rearranged or orchestrated organically behind the scenes. And so expect that wondrous energy to emerge when you silence the logical mind. And so I just feel these energies are pretty potent. These energies are pretty intense. And so we can't really predict what the future holds. But if you would like to go further with me with the Twin Flame Synastry chart reading, or a personal birth chart reading, or just book in a personal reading for your journey, then check out the description box below. There you will find the link to my webpage. I also would like to quickly mention I'm no longer doing monthly zodiac readings at this time. If you would like zodiac sign specific messages, I do go live every Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time, where I do dig into all 12 zodiac signs on the membership side of the channel. So go check it out. For less than a cup of coffee a month, you can be a channel member. I would love to see you over there.